Have you ever been watching a movie or a TV show and you're just totally lost in the story?
Oh, absolutely. Like you forget you're even looking at a screen.
Right. And suddenly you feel this bizarre urge to just step right through it, to physically inhabit that world you're watching.
Yeah, I mean, you see the characters laughing over coffee in some booth, and you just want to be right there with them.
Exactly. You think, I want to be in that exact seat. But there's that glass barrier. You can't smell the coffee. You can't taste the fries. It's just pixels and light.
Well, usually it's just pixels.
Right, usually. Or is it? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a stack of sources detailing 10 iconic TV and movie restaurants that actually exist in the real world.
Yeah, and we aren't just looking at a list of roadside tourist traps here.
Definitely not. Our mission is to explore these specific places where you can walk right through the door and literally taste the fiction.
Because the sources we have, they give us a window into a much more complex phenomenon. We're examining this fascinating intersection where fictional narratives exert so much gravity, that they physically alter real-world businesses.
It's wild. Like a TV show can literally change a restaurant's menu.
Completely. It can rewrite its local history and even dictate global travel habits. We're talking about a really strange symbiotic relationship between the Hollywood machine and the everyday hospitality industry.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to take you on a journey through the layers of this phenomenon. We'll start with everyday diners that are just hiding in plain sight, living these bizarre double lives.
Right, the facades.
Yeah. Then we'll move to the real historical institutions that actually gave these fictions their authentic soul. And finally, we're going all the way down the rabbit hole.
Oh, the total takeovers.
Exactly. Locations that have been completely aggressively consumed by their on-screen alter egos.
Because the spectrum of how a business reacts to sudden pop culture fame, it's just vast. Some places try to hold on to their identity, right? They just lend their exterior architecture to a show.
Just a quick background shot.
Yeah, but others find that the economic pressure of fandom is so intense they have no choice but to surrender their reality to the fiction entirely.
So I was looking through the notes on our first group, the locations that serve as facades. And these are businesses that primarily provided an exterior shell, which creates an incredibly bizarre duality for the people who actually work and eat there.
Because the business has its own vital, real-world life, right?
Yes, but it carries the massive weight of this fictional lore on top of it. Let's look at arguably the most famous example in television history, Tom's Restaurant on the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Oh, better known to millions of viewers globally as Monk's Restaurant from the TV series Seinfeld.
That's the one.
The place where Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer obsessively dissected the absolute minutiae of their daily lives.
All right, so if you watch Seinfeld, you know Monk's. I mean, it is the geographic anchor of that entire show. But reading through these sources, I realized the interior of the restaurant, where the actors actually filmed those legendary booth scenes, it wasn't anywhere near New York.
Wait, really? It was all a set?
All a set. It was on a soundstage in California. Tom's Restaurant merely provided the exterior shot of that neon sign.
Ah, right.
But that 5-second B-roll clip was used so heavily over 9 seasons that Tom's and Monk's just became permanently fused in our cultural consciousness.
Yeah, that exterior shot acts as this sort of psychological bridge. Even though the interior doesn't match the set at all, the physical building validates the fiction for the viewer. It makes the world of Seinfeld feel tangible.
And what surprised me in the research is that the real Tom's is a massive institution in its own right. It's in the Morningside Heights neighborhood, just a couple blocks from Columbia University.
That's feeding all the students.
Exactly. It's not just a prop. It serves an incredibly affordable menu of burgers, sandwiches, all-day breakfast. In fact, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, they stay open 24 hours a day just to feed that college crowd.
That's a huge operation.
Yeah. They even have their own proud motto, claiming they, quote, make it nice.
See, so they're running a highly demanding functional business, yet they really cannot escape the Seinfeld connection. I mean, if you walk into Tom's, the walls are lined with signed photographs and memorabilia.
Oh, they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. They are fully aware that a massive percentage of their foot traffic consists of tourists just seeking a sitcom pilgrimage.
I love how they handle it, though.
Yeah.
There's this brilliant detail in the source material about their menu. So fans of the show can walk into Tom's and order a big salad, which, is a famous running joke from the series.
Oh, Elaine's big salad.
Yeah, Elaine's big salad. But there's a catch. If you want to add grilled chicken to that big salad, It's going to cost you $17.
Huh. That is a masterclass in commercial pragmatism. I mean, they're capitalizing on a beloved sitcom joke while simultaneously operating one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world.
It's so smart. But, it's one thing to lean into a lighthearted joke about a salad. What happens when the fictional world your restaurant is portraying is actually deeply dangerous?
Ooh, okay. Where are we going?
That brings us to our next facade in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm talking about Los Pollos Hermanos from Breaking Bad.
Oh, man. The fast food chicken establishment run by the highly methodical drug kingpin, Gus Fring.
Exactly.
In the narrative of the show, Los Pollos Hermanos is this elaborate, highly successful corporate front for an international crystal meth empire. And the show creates this incredible tension by placing these high-stakes, life-or-death conversations right in the middle of a brightly lit, cheerful fast food joint.
Right. It's so unsettling. But according to our research, Los Pollos Hermanos obviously doesn't exist. The
Yeah.
building used for all those 10 scenes is a real restaurant called Twister's. And here's the kicker. Twister's doesn't even specialize in fried chicken.
Wait, what? It does?
No. It's a burrito and burger chain. They have over 20 locations across New Mexico and Colorado. They're open all day serving omelets and burritos. But this specific location in Albuquerque, it looks identical to the meth front from the show.
Wow, down to the exact layout, the counter, and the seating, I bet.
Completely.
And the economic impact of the shoot on this local burrito chain has just been absolutely staggering. The sources note that management saw a massive surge in profits strictly because of the Breaking Bad association.
That's crazy.
They literally have fans traveling from as far away as China just to stand inside the dining room and take photographs.
I mean, just think about the psychology of that for a second. You're a tourist from China flying across the globe to take a picture in a regional burrito chain in Albuquerque.
It sounds absurd when you say it out loud.
It's like discovering your boring, fluorescent-lit local laundromat where you wash your socks is actually a front for a global spy syndicate. You walk in to order a breakfast burrito, but your brain is projecting a cartel stronghold over the reality.
Yeah, the psychological overlay is just so powerful.
It completely changes how you experience the physical space.
It really speaks to the immersive power of modern television and, well, our desire for simulated danger. We want to physically inhabit the drama we see on screen, but we want to do it safely.
Right, no actual cartels involved.
Exactly. You get the adrenaline thrill of sitting in a ruthless kingpin's booth, but the only actual risk you're taking is, maybe spilling hot salsa on your shirt.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more in this facade category before we move on. We're going back to Manhattan, over to 55th Street. McGee's Pub. The real-life inspiration for McLaren's Pub from the sitcom How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, McLaren's. That was the absolute center of gravity for that show. It's where the characters fought for their favorite booth and spent nearly a decade telling stories.
Yeah, that was their spot.
Interestingly, the name of the fictional bar was actually lifted from a real person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the show's production assistant, Carl McLaren.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. But the aesthetic blueprint, like the padded booths, the specific muraled walls, those were lifted directly from McGee's, which sits just a few blocks from Central Park in Times Square.
So they took the real look for the set.
Right. And the source notes that McGee's has completely wrapped its arms around this fandom. They host trivia nights. They offer cocktails directly inspired by the show's mythology, like the Slutty Pumpkin or the Pineapple Incident.
Of course they do.
They even run a How I Met Your Mother Monday with a dedicated menu, and they partner with a TV tour company to offer discounts to tourists.
So they have seamlessly integrated the fiction into their standard business model.
Yeah, but let me push back on that idea seamlessly, though. I mean, if McGee's is located right near Times Square, and they're actively running guided TV tours through their dining room, serving novelty Slutty Pumpkin cocktails, at what point does it stop being a genuine New York neighborhood pub?
And just become a theme park attraction.
Exactly. Doesn't the fiction eventually hollow out the reality of the place?
Well, what's fascinating here is the economic reality of operating in a tourist-heavy area like Midtown Manhattan. These business owners are performing a highly complex balancing act.
How do you mean?
Well, on a Tuesday afternoon, they're pouring beers for their local regulars who just got off work. But on the weekend, they're cashing in on global pop culture fame. The fiction doesn't hollow out the reality, it subsidizes it.
Ah, right.
It ensures the doors stay open and the rent gets paid so the locals still have a neighborhood spot, even if they occasionally have to share it with a tour group taking selfies in the corner booth.
Okay, the fiction pays the rent. I get that.
Mm.
But let's shift from places that were disguised by Hollywood or heavily subsidized by it to a different phenomenon entirely.
Section 2.
Yes, our next group of restaurants did something else. They lent their authentic soul. These are places with such deep-rooted, palpable, real-world histories that Hollywood chose them specifically because they couldn't be faked on a soundstage.
Their real history anchored the cinematic moments.
Exactly.
And this is a crucial distinction. The filmmakers weren't looking for a blank canvas here. They were hunting for chaotic, lived-in energy.
And there is no better example of this than Katz's Delicatessen in Manhattan's Lower East Side. The source notes emphasize that this place has been serving pastrami to its customers since 1888.
Wow. Over a century.
Yeah. And it sees more than 4,000 customers every single day.
It is an institution in the truest sense of the word, governed by its own incredibly stubborn traditions.
Oh, so stubborn. I like reading about their menu. A Reuben sandwich was considered a controversial, quote, new addition when they added it 30 years ago.
30 years ago was the new addition.
Yes. And the cheesesteak was added 10 years ago. Beyond upgrading their cheesecakes, the restaurant has refused to change. It looks the same, smells the same, and tastes the same as it did generations ago.
Yet, despite that towering century of tangible history, it was a single 3-minute scene in a 1989 romantic comedy that gave Katz's its most massive burst of global exposure.
When Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal sitting in the middle of that crowded, noisy deli, creating one of the most iconic, unrepeatable scenes in cinema history.
It's legendary.
And you can go there right now and actually sit at the exact table where that scene was filmed. But here's a fantastic detail I found in the sources. Everyone knows Katz's is famous for its pastrami, right? That's the undisputed king of the menu.
Right, of course.
But in the movie, Sally didn't eat the pastrami. She actually ordered the turkey sandwich.
Huh. That is a wonderful piece of culinary trivia. I'll have what she's having, indeed. But, you see the underlying mechanism here, right?
Yeah, what's going on behind the scenes?
The director, Rob Reiner, he needed the specific, authentic friction of a 100-year-old New York deli to make the absurdity of that scene work. You just cannot manufacture that level of authenticity.
It has to be real. Okay, let's take that same principle of authentic soul and apply it down in Austin, Texas. Top-notch hamburgers.
The quintessential backdrop for Richard Linklater's film Dazed and Confused.
Exactly. The movie follows groups of teenagers cruising the Austin suburbs on their last day of school. And while they filmed all over the area, Top-Notch Hamburgers is legendary for a very specific reason in cinematic history.
Oh, this is good.
This drive-in was the location for Matthew McConaughey's very first shot at an acting career.
It serves as the physical genesis of an absolute icon.
It does. He pulls up to the Top-Notch drive-in in his Chevelle, leans out the window, and delivers his first 3 words on film. All right, all right, all right.
Classic.
And the incredible part is, if you visit Austin today, the original Top-Notch Hamburgers looks exactly like it did in the movie. It is still open 7 days a week, churning out burgers and fried chicken.
So it operates as a living time capsule.
Yeah, not just for the 1970s era the film depicts, but for the exact geographical coordinates where a movie star was born.
That's incredible. Let's look at one more venue that falls into this authentic soul category, but this one deals with the music industry. The Bluebird Cafe.
Right, located in a small strip mall just outside of downtown Nashville. So, the source notes say that since the hit drama series, Nashville introduced the Bluebird to television audiences in 2012, over 70,000 people visit it annually. It's the top nightlife attraction in the city.
70,000 people.
But the physical reality of the space is shockingly tiny. It seats fewer than 100 people.
Less than 100.
Under 100. They serve drinks, salads, and sandwiches. And its real legacy, decades before the TV show even existed, was being a sacred, quiet room for up-and-coming songwriters to tuck their original material. I mean, Garth Brooks played there before he became a global superstar.
It is the ultimate kingmaker room in country music.
But here's what I don't understand, though. How does a venue that incredibly small logistically and mentally handle an influx of 70,000 tourists looking for TV drama when his original magic was just being a dead silent room to hear an acoustic guitar?
It seems like a paradox.
Doesn't the sheer volume of tourists destroy the very intimacy they came to see?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it all comes down to authenticity as a currency. The producers of the TV show Nashville, They didn't invent the Bluebird Cafe. They needed to borrow its credibility.
To make their show feel real.
Exactly. The influx of tourists is undoubtedly overwhelming for a 100-seat room, but those crowds are fundamentally seeking a space where real legends were forged. The fictional drama just put a megaphone to the real history.
Oh, I see.
The authentic soul of the room is the anchor that keeps the whole operation grounded, even under the weight of massive fandom.
So Katz's top-notch, the Bluebird, they managed to stay mostly true to themselves while the fame swirled around them. But reading further into the sources, I found instances where the sheer weight of fan expectation physically alters the trajectory of the restaurant.
Okay, this is category 3.
Yes, our third category, the commitment to the bit. This is where the fiction actively forces the business to rewrite its own reality.
The physical environment basically bouncing back and expanding to meet the mythology.
Exactly. I have a note here about Tweed's Cafe in North Bend, Washington, and this part genuinely confuses me. So this was the real-world location for the Double R Diner, for the cult classic 90s show, Twin Peaks.
Oh, right, Twin Peaks.
Fans would go there for cherry pie and a, quote, damn fine cup of coffee. But the source says that sometime after the show ended, a devastating fire completely gutted the building.
Oh, wow. A total tragedy for the local community and the owners.
Right, but here's my confusion. When they rebuilt Tweed's after the fire, they modernized it. It lost that specific, quirky 1990s Twin Peaks aesthetic, and the visiting fans were furious.
You're kidding.
No, they were walking into a functional, newly remodeled cafe and throwing a fit because it didn't look like a fictional television set anymore. That sounds like an impossible situation for a business owner trying to recover from a disaster.
It really is. But it demonstrates the powerful economics of fan nostalgia. The customers weren't buying coffee, they were buying a memory.
A memory of the show.
Exactly. So when the environment no longer matched the memory, the product lost its value to them.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Years later, it is announced that Twin Peaks is returning to television for a new season.
Oh, the reboot.
Yes. And the owners of Tweed's made a wild decision. They completely undid their own real-world post-fire remodel to restore the cafe to its original fictional aesthetic.
Wait, they went backwards?
Yes. They literally destroyed their own modern upgrades to make the building look old and quirky again, matching the TV show's history rather than their own actual history.
That's amazing. The economic incentive of the show returning, combined with the relentless pressure of fan expectation, literally dictated their architecture. Their most viable, profitable path forward as a business was to permanently cosplay as their fictional counterpart.
I guess you just can't fight the fandom. Now let's look at another location that expanded massively to meet consumer demand. Mystic Pizza.
Ah, the real pizza parlor in downtown Mystic, Connecticut that served as the inspiration and filming location for the 1988 film of the same name, starring Julia Roberts.
Yeah, the movie is all about the charm of 3 teenage girls working at a small-town parlor, serving up what the movie calls a slice of heaven.
A slice of heaven.
The fandom was so intense that people would line the streets just to get in. But looking at their commercial pivot, they didn't just maintain the original charming spot. They opened a second location.
Okay, capitalizing on the fame.
Sure, but then they built a gift shop to pump out merchandise. And they even started selling mass-produced frozen Mystic pizzas in grocery stores across the country.
Oh, wow. They franchised the fiction. They took a localized coming-of-age story and engineered it into a scalable consumer product for the freezer aisle.
But doesn't that inherently break the spell? If you were sitting in your apartment thousands of miles away, eating a mass-produced frozen pizza from a cardboard box, doesn't that completely dilute the slice of heaven charm? You aren't experiencing a small Connecticut town. You're just consuming a brand.
You know, you're identifying the ultimate tension of these locations, which is accessibility versus specialness. The frozen pizza acts as a proxy.
A proxy.
Yeah, it allows people who will never have the time or money to travel to Connecticut to feel like they are participating in the movie's legacy. The culinary experience is drastically different, yes, but the psychological fulfillment of touching the brand remains.
That makes sense. Well, if selling a frozen pizza proxy is a deep commitment to the bit, our final category is going to blow your mind. This is where the proxy isn't enough. Our final 2 locations represent the total takeover.
The total takeover, where the original real-world identity ceases to exist, completely eclipsed by the myth.
Exactly. I mean, listen to this sequence of events. We're heading to Boston, the year's 1982. The Bull and Finch pub is having an incredible run, Boston Magazine just awarded them the highly prestigious title of Best Neighborhood Bar in the city.
That is a massive validation for a local owner. It signifies genuine respect from your community.
But that same year, a new television comedy premieres on September 30th about a bar where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
The producers had used the Bull and Finch pub as their aesthetic inspiration.
As Cheers.
The show was Cheers. The global fame of that sitcom became so absolute, so suffocating, that the Bull and Finch pub essentially threw in the towel. They legally erased their own award-winning name and rebranded themselves simply as Cheers.
Wow. They relinquished their hard-earned local prestige in favor of global mythology.
It reminds me of a local musician who finds their authentic voice, but then one of their songs goes viral on a TikTok algorithm for a completely different reason.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
Suddenly, they have to abandon their true style just to keep playing the one snippet the internet demands. Cheers completely gamified their own existence. They opened the second spot at the Faneuil Hall Marketplace. They sell souvenir mugs.
And the food.
Oh, their menu features the Coach's Club sandwich, Fraser's chicken panini, and the giant Norm burger.
You are no longer eating lunch in Boston. You are participating as an extra in a syndicated episode.
Truly. But erasing a historic Boston pub's name pales in comparison to our final and frankly most surreal example from the sources, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Okay, the globally recognized animated series about a sea sponge living in a pineapple under the sea, working as a fry cook at the Krusty Krab restaurant.
It is entirely a cartoon. It exists strictly in the realm of underwater imagination.
Yeah.
Yet, a real-life, physical version of the Krusty Krab has actually opened its doors.
Wait, where?
In Moscow.
This raises an important question. Why is an American cartoon dictating the restaurant architecture of the Russian capital?
It's pure madness. I was trying to wrap my head around this. It's like, imagine someone deciding to build a fully functional, full-scale Death Star cafeteria in the middle of a random city and serving the exact same slop the stormtroopers eat.
Right, because there's no reality there.
There's no real-world filming location here to borrow an authentic soul from. They manifested pure animation into bricks, mortar, and burger buns. You walk in a ship barrel chair at a steering wheel table, surrounded by figures of Squidward and Patrick.
Unbelievable.
And you literally order a Krabby Patty burger off a menu that also features pizza and pasta.
Well, it perfectly illustrates the mechanism of global media syndication. I mean, a joke written by animators in a studio in California about a crab selling burgers is exported, translated, and embraced so deeply across the globe that an entrepreneur in post-Soviet Russia decides to risk their actual capital to build a physical shrine to it.
It's a testament to the power of the show.
The intellectual property is so strong it commands physical space on the other side of the planet.
So what does this all mean? We traveled from the Upper West Side of Manhattan to the suburbs of Austin, from a rebuilt diner in Washington State to an underwater cartoon cafe in Moscow.
Quite a trip.
Whether you are paying $17 for a salad at Tom's, nervously eating a burrito in Gus Fring's booth, or sitting at Meg Ryan's exact table at Katz's Deli, there is a powerful common thread. We are actively hunting for a physical connection to our digital memories. We want to physically taste the fiction.
Which leaves us with a rather profound question to consider. In a world where we spend so much of our waking lives looking at screens, scrolling through endless content, and living digitally, why are we so desperate to eat physical food from a fictional world?
Great question.
Does sitting in a barrel and tasting a real-world Krabby Patty make the fiction feel more real to us? Or does it actually serve to make our own everyday reality feel just a little bit more magical?
I love that. We just want to break through the glass screen and finally smell the coffee. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Next time you grab a burger or a slice of cherry pie, take a look around. You might just be sitting in the middle of someone else's favorite story.